Alright, so we open this one up with my boy Timmy Turner in school, and Mr. Crocker reminds his future failures that the big science fair is coming up. So the theme this year is going to be transportation, and the rest of their class has their projects ready to go, but you already know my boy Timmy has not so much as thought about this project beyond how he's gonna blow it off to get some gaming in. Crocker starts grilling my mans about this, talking about some, I knew your smooth brain wouldn't have a project ready, Turner. The only way you could be ready in time is with an assist from fairy godparents! I'm going to be watching you like a hawk. Look over there, a child in pain. Where? And no way this man Crocker is seated and ready with a whole bag of popcorn. Like, what are we talking about, brother? Why are you so hyped to see a child suffering? And listen to how mad this dude gets when he finds out he's been duped.
Hey, there's no child in pain here, but there's going to be!
Grown man, by the way. So since the block is hot, Timmy sends Cosmo and Wanda home, but before he does that, he has them send him to the best science lab in all of Dimmsdale. They give him an auto poofer that'll poof him back to his room from wherever he is, and they send him off. But as it turns out, the best lab in all of Dimmsdale belongs to Timmy's boy AJ, so that's no good, because he would know Timmy yoinked his tech, and then it'd be a whole thing. It's not worth it. So Timmy says, bet, if Dimmsdale is off the table, send me to the best lab in the universe. And they send our boy off. We get ourselves an animation change, and we are over with the big brain himself. It's Jimmy Neutron. So Jimmy is over here working on Goddard, and he's got a new setup that can update the Robo-Doggo on a molecular level. And look, I don't know why you need to update your tech on a cellular level, but you do you, Jimmy, you do you. So as Jimmy is working on all this, Timmy poofs in and is immediately like, what can I steal in here? Jimmy catches him in the act and is like, listen, little bro, you can't have anything in here. It's all mine. This helmet? Mine. This shrink ray? Mine. Even this mini laser is mine.
Wait a minute. This isn't my mini laser.
And with that, Timmy has the lab to himself, and we get the opening to the special, which is a mix-up of their two themes, and we truly get the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour underway. Now, I don't know about y'all, but me as a kid growing up, bigger Fairly OddParents fan than Jimmy Neutron fan by a wide bar. I was all Team Timmy. I was rooting all the way. So Timmy starts rummaging around the lab trying to find something for his project, and he peeps the computer updating Goddard, but he misinterprets it as a gaming console. He thinks Tune-Up sounds like a lame-ass game, so he swaps it out for his copy of Decimator, Crush the Planet! But dang, maybe the special was ahead of its time, because that game's got to update. Just like modern gaming, you get home with a brand new game, you're all excited, you pop that bad boy in, and boom, you're greeted with a 2-hour update. Timmy really doesn't have the patience for this though, so it's lucky for him that Sheen and Carl show up to the lab. Now these dudes, their smooth brains think that Timmy is Jimmy. After a failed science experiment, they think he shrunk his head and scientifically changed the letter J to T.
Okay.
Timmy tells the boys that they're allowed to stick around, but only if they can help him figure this stuff out. And they are gassed up for a chance to mess with Jimmy's stuff. I don't know, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think I got these boys on fraud alert. See, they are under the impression that something went horribly wrong with their friend Jimmy. He's all out of sorts, he ain't looking right, and instead of trying to find some way to help get their friend back to normal, they immediately use this for their own gain. Friends, but Jimmy is kind of a pretentious asshole, so I don't even think I can blame him that much. Now, what's actually wild is Judy Neutron not recognizing that this kid is not her son! She really thinks Timmy is Jimmy over here, and my boy is like, y'all must use J instead of T in this dimension because this is crazy. Oh, so you want to be a smart mouth then? Well, you're grounded, Jimmy. Bruh, hit her with this hypno beam. So Timmy makes Judy think that she's Mighty Mom, and she goes taking off. All this has Carl stressing out about if this power's too much for them, but Jimmy just took, my bad, now I'm doing it. Timmy tells him to chill and takes off on his hoverboard. We check in on Goddard's download progress, and oh snap, it's up to about 50%. It's really been moving out here. Just like the subscriber count has been moving. Last video, I thanked y'all for 100 subs. Now we're almost to 400, and it's honestly crazy. I can't tell y'all how much it means to me. Next goal post is 1,000, so if you're new here and you're liking what you're seeing so far, hey, leave a subscribe. You know the vibe. Back over on Timmy, and my boy crashes his hoverboard into Cindy and Libby. And would you look at that? Finally, somebody recognizes that this is not Jimmy. The girls clock him immediately as a stranger on account of his buck teeth and his tiny head. And they assume he's just one of Jimmy's genius friends. Timmy apologizes to the girls for crashing into them, blaming the complex controls of the hoverboard, but Cindy's like, bruh, all you gotta do is hit the pedals. And Timmy's like, dang girl, you a genius. You should help me with my science project. This little bit of affirmation was all Cindy needed to be down bad, ride or die for him. And they both dip out on the rest of the gang to get talking. Oh, hey, would you look at that? Goddard's update is done already. And now, if y'all remember, Jimbo said that this update would affect Goddard on a molecular level, you know? So when Timmy put Decimator in, it updated Goddard to, you know, be the planet crusher himself. And so he sets his sight on Jimmy's dad, Hugh.
Player 1, your future is cancelled.
Your future's canceled is crazy. What are we talking about, brother? That's so OD. So we cut on over back to Jimmy, who's poofed into Timmy's room, and he's worried about Goddard's update without him there to monitor it, which, yeah, valid concern, brother. While he's trying to figure out a way back home, Cosmo and Wanda poof in. They mistake him as Timmy, but it's only long enough to greet him before they realize that this is in fact not their boy.
I'm not familiar with how you greet people in this dimension, but okay.
Hi, Jimmy.
They start sweating about Jimmy finding out they are fairies, but Jimmy is so science-pilled, he just assumes they are AI tangible holograms. Timmy's dad comes bursting in talking about, Timmy, it's time for school. I'm not Timmy, I'm Jimmy Neutron. Sure. And I'm sure this amazing disguise has nothing to do with the fact that you didn't finish your school science fair project. Why, I remember when you didn't want to do a math test when you were Kent Quasar. Or what about the time you didn't want to go to the dentist and you were Buzz Adams? That's why I've got Vicky here to take your goofy ass to school. Oh, Mr. Turner, I'll get him to school safe and sound. Ooh! Now, I know this is another instance of people mixing the two of them up, and I was coming at Jimmy's people for doing this pretty hard, but I'm gonna give everyone on Timmy's dimension a pass, because Timmy has a history of doing stuff like this, and everyone knows it. Like, look at how his own class greets him later.
Hey, it's Kent Quasar!
But before we get there, Cosmo and Wanda poof in as cats, and they let Jimmy know that Timmy wants to keep them a secret. And Jimmy may not like the guy, but he's not about to go leaking other scientists' secrets out here. He's not a monster. Speaking of other scientists, Jimmy is hoping that someone in this fair can help him with this world's tech so he can figure out a way to get home. So he decides to attend class in Timmy's place, and Crocker, much like the rest of the class, assumes this is just another one of Turner's disguises and gives him his daily F. And this poor boy Jimmy starts burning like a demon from holy water when this thing touches him. He's never felt something like that in his life. Then you got AJ over here like, that's not all. You still have to do your science fair project you haven't even started yet. What do you mean he hasn't started yet? He built this teleportation device. And then Jimmy poofs out of there, and Crocker ASAP loses the plot. He ditches the class and heads to his secret lair, the Crocker Cave, to find these fairy godparents! So it turns out Crocker made this whole fair transportation theme solely so he could find a project that would be able to transport him to the legendary fairy world. And on Jimmy's end, he tries to use the poofer to get him back home, but he is only able to get back to Timmy's room. So after looking around Timmy's room for a bit, he's able to find a Game Boy, and after doing some tinkering with that and the poofer, he's able to make it so it can teleport him anywhere. And this kind of implies that magic isn't really real, it's more so like an advanced tech, does it not? Because why is he able to just do this? He only knows science, he doesn't know magic. But anyway, before he's able to use it, Crocker comes bursting into the room and he steals the Game Boy to teleport straight to Fairy World. Back over with Timmy in Jimmy's dimension, he's going on a date with Cindy and the gang burst in talking about how Goddard has lost it. They all run out to see my boy Goddard looking ripped AF chasing after Hugh, and Timmy gets gassed up. He's over here like, that's sick. Download took forever, but it was worth it. My girl Cindy over here takes that as Timmy designed this Goddard transformation himself, and she's over here swooning. Timmy gives the gang a rundown on how Decimator works.
Relax, it's just a harmless game. Besides, at this level, Decimator is so slow you'd have to stand absolutely still for him to get ya.
And hard cuts immediately to him taking out a car. And Timmy's like, alright, so I'll see y'all later. I got some more game to spit at Cindy. And they take off as Decimator takes out Hugh and sets its sights on this ice cream truck. The driver is able to juke him for a little bit, but he crashes into a light pole and gets taken out. Big D immediately locks onto a windmill and takes it out no diff, so he's ready for a bigger challenge. So he locks onto Carl, Sheen, and Libby all at the same time. We cut over to Cindy and Timmy's date, and they are listening to each other's thoughts with this device here, and there is nothing going on in Little Bro's head.
Manish on the beat, shebang. All of my ops, they dead. Why do they gas me up? Where does it go? My head.
Say, Cindy, you'd still like me even if I weren't smart, wouldn't you? Of course not.
After that, the party comes running up with Decimator hot on their tail to crash the date. Decimator gobbles Timmy up, and Cindy has to call in to guide Timmy to its core. So Cindy's able to guide him to the breaker box, and once he gets there, he's able to use his massive chompers to get this thing open and shut Decimator down. And poor Cindy is so down bad that she is convinced Timmy got eaten on purpose and played dumb on the escape attempt to give her a chance to shine. My girl, he is not nice like that. Now that Goddard's back to his old self, Jimmy's able to call through him and tells Timmy that Crocker yoinked them off to Fairy World. And my man's Crocker is gassed up. He always knew it. They called him a fool. They called him crazy, but he was right all along. He can't wait to see all the sights, and he pretends to be an imp and hops on a tour bus to see what he can learn. Timmy tries to get Jimmy to help get Crocker up out of there, but Jimmy does not care what Timmy wants as long as Goddard's good, and he hangs up on little bro. Over on Crocker's end, his tour bus ends up taking him past the Fairy Armory. And this is the Fairy Armory, where we store all our magical weapons. It's the only place in Fairy World with its own power supply. Any questions? I have a question. So let's say one of these humans was here, not me of course, but if a human were here and broke into the armory, not me, would they be able to use the weaponry and take over Fairy World and become the king of the fairies? Oh, for sure, yeah, especially if you destroyed the big wand. It powers all our magic and we'd be forced to surrender. So after hearing that, Crocker doesn't even finish this very informative tour. He teleports straight into the armory and snatches up as much weapons as he can, and he goes and topples the big wand. Like, he did it ASAP. He gets pulled up on by Jorgen von Strangle, but even with his huge, rippling muscles, without his magic, he just can't stand up to Crocker with his gear, and he gets turned into a buff schnauzer. Crocker begins systematically remaking Fairy World in his own image. Like, bruh even makes himself his own Mount Rushmore. He's feeling himself out here. It's crazy. While he's distracted though, Timmy is able to use some electromagnetism to yoink the teleporter from him. Jimmy's ready to dip out, but Cosmo begs him to stay and help. Jimmy's not worried about them though. Jimmy tells him, "You're just computer programs. Worst case, you get deleted. No worries. You aren't even real." Timmy calls in from the watch to tell Jimmy that Cosmo and Wanda are as real to him as Goddard is to Jimmy. They're his best friends, and Jimmy has to save them. Before my boy can get any more pleas out though, Crocker zaps the watch off Jimmy's wrist and starts going on the attack. But after hearing Timmy's cries for help and seeing the very real sorrow on the faces of the fairies, Jimmy resolves himself to help. He has himself a bit of a brain blast and he teleports back to the science fair to make himself a mech suit out of the other experiments that were there. He takes the suit back to Fairy World to run the ones with Crocker, and they have a bit of a back and forth, but Crocker's magic, it's just too much to deal with. You know, what can you really do? So as Crocker prepares to deal the final blow, we get the reveal that the mech suit was a decoy operated by Cosmo and Wanda, and the real Jimmy repowers the big wand. Let's go, Jimbo! With magic returned to Fairy World, Jimmy is able to use Jorgen's wand, and he starts morphing Crocker around into all these different science tools until Crocker surrenders. But his surrender isn't enough for Jorgen, who's still a dog, and he has to wipe Crocker's mind. And I'm over here thinking, okay, like he's gonna Men in Black mind wipe him or something. No, that's not what Jorgen does. He stays a dog and he proceeds to maul Crocker until he loses his short-term memory, gets it replaced with a nice heaping bowl of PTSD. What are we talking about, brother? This is cruel and unusual punishment. But anyway, Timmy wishes for both of the boys to go back home and they finally get to meet face to face.
Jimmy Neutron, boy genius.
Timmy Turner! Boy!
Thanks for saving my dog.
Thanks for saving my,
Fairy programs?
Sure, fairy programs!
The boys say their farewells. We end the special up with Jimmy sending Goddard over to Timmy's dimension so that Timmy can win the science fair. Let's go! Thanks again for joining us for another video. I hope y'all liked it. If you did, you know, maybe leave a like, maybe leave a subscribe. You know the vibe. I hope y'all are hanging around for the next one. Thanks for watching.